pe canalul nostru de YouTube, Axence System, unde să poată fi vizualizată și de alți utilizatori. Câteva cuvinte vreau să spun și despre compania pe care o reprezint, Axence System. Axence System este unul dintre cei mai mari integratori a soluțiilor de securitate informațională din Republica Moldova. De asemenea, pot să vă spun că Axence System are mai mult de 100 de proiecte finalizate cu succes. Lucrăm practic cu toate băncile din Moldova. Lucrăm cu instituțiile de stat, ministere, plus pot să vă spun și chiar ce ține și de sectorul privat. Aici tot avem proiecte foarte mari care sunt finalizate cu succes. Vreau să fac un mic screen la ecran, share. În primul rând, vreau să vă mulțumesc, cum am zis un pic mai devreme, pentru timpul care l-ați găsit. Webinarul de astăzi va fi cu tematica de la auditul IT la suportul utilizatorilor, managementul IT și continuitatea afacerilor. Alături de mine astăzi va fi și echipa de la Axence Team, anume de la Axence Systems, mai bine zis, domnul Oleg Uzun, directorul tehnic, domnul Alexandru Bulat, inginerul nostru de rețea și nu doar, este și inginerul care răspunde de mai multe soluții de securitate informațională, inclusiv și Axence, și domnișoara Teodora Scurtu, șefa la Academia Axence Academy, șefa la Axence Academy, director la Axence Academy. De asemenea, din partea companiei Axence va fi alături de noi și domnul Marcin Matiușevski, senior IT support engineer. În câteva cuvinte vreau să vă spun doar despre agenda care va fi la webinarul de astăzi. Este vorba despre de la ora 10 până la orele 10 și 10 vom avea un cuvânt de welcome din partea companiei Axence și Axence. De asemenea, deja după orele 10 și 10 vom trece să aflăm pe scurt ce este soluția Axence, cu ce ne poate ajuta. De asemenea, după orele 10 și 10, 11:30 va avea loc și o sesiune demo care va veni, cred eu, cu niște recomandări directe către administratori și pentru departamentele IT a companiilor, pentru utilizarea componentelor soluției Axence. Aici vreau să menționez doar câteva din ele: auditul și inventarierea infrastructurii, monitorizarea resurselor critice, monitorizarea infrastructurii, ne permite investigarea rapidă a incidentelor și găsirea de soluții instante. Nu în ultimul rând, și modulul de help desk, service desk, ce ne permite administrarea cererilor interne și externe, prin urmărirea ciclului de viață a unui incident și remedierea. Deja de la orele 11:30 și până la orele 12, până la 11:45, cer scuze, vom avea o sesiune de întrebări cu răspunsuri. Și de la 11:45 până la orele 12 se va desfășura o tombolă care vom avea cu 5 premii. Pot să vă spun, premiul mare va fi un rucsac, premiul 2, 3 și 4 un tricou și premiul 5 o sticlă de vin roșu de colecție. La capitolul dat pot să spun că la tombolă ne va ajuta colega de la Axence Academy, Teodora. Și aș vrea să vă mai spun în câteva cuvinte doar că cam care sunt avantajele soluții de management, monitorizare și audit Axence. Aceasta este o soluție modulară, să zicem așa, care este compusă din mai multe module. Se poate dimensionat modulul network, care ne oferă monitorizarea dispozitivelor și aplicațiilor de rețea. Se poate de menționat și modulul de inventariere, care ne permite să managuim toate asset-urile, adică activele din companie. Se poate de menționat modulul utilizatori, care ne permite securizarea informației și managementul dreptului utilizatorilor din companie. De asemenea, modulul de helpdesk, care este un sistem complet de jurnalizare a cererilor și incidentelor cu propriul chat, de discuție din interiorul companiei, și modulul DataGuard, care ne permite să protejăm datele companiei cu scopul de a proteja scurgerea de date din companie. Și s-ar putea de menționat, da, și modulul admin centru, care ne permite să administrăm toate modulele de la un singur centru de comandă și securitate. Pe scurt, acestea sunt doar câteva din avantajele soluției Axence Envision. Și aici eu cred că ar fi mai optimal să îi ofer cuvântul colegului și partenerului nostru de la compania Axence, Marcin.
Hello, I'm technical support engineer from Axence. We are Polish-based company and we deliver and develop Axence Envision software. It's the set of tools for network administrators to manage, monitor and manage computers in everyday work. It has 6 functional modules and they help to cover different area of monitoring and management, both users and data. We have the customers all around the world from different branches of the market. There are some public institutions and also private companies. For example, Stock Exchange, Bulgarian Stock Exchange, Euro Holding, College, Polish American Association, YMCA, and so on. You can check it on our site, Axence.net. As I said before, Envision has 6 functional modules. We developed it for more than 15 years. The basic one is the network, which is agentless, completely agentless, and completely for free. In the network, you can discover your devices and monitor them agentlessly. The next 5 functional modules, they require agent to be installed because agent collects more detailed information and share the information to the server for the administrators. What is more, on our website Axence.net, you can go and download free version. The free version has all features enabled. The only limit is you can monitor up to 10 agents. The devices amount within the network module is not limited, so you can monitor agentlessly unlimited number of devices and monitor up to 10 agents for free with all features enabled. There is no trial version, it's full version for free use. Today we will discuss examples of our recommendation for administrators and IT departments in 5 critical areas. The first one will be inventory and audit. Then we will focus on the critical resources and monitoring. Then we will move to incidents investigations and accountability. We will discuss building protective policies over their users, and the very nice area, which is service request system and remote help, remote management of the computer. So let's start with the first part, the inventory and the Envision console. When we go to the Envision console, you can see the devices group in the maps. For example, the network maps, custom maps, departments. You can even create smart maps which collect some devices which meet some conditions, and they are built dynamically by the program. In inventory, it is important to keep the information about the updates of the systems, the software, different external storage devices, flash drives, hard disks, the equipment which works outside the company network, the services you run in the organization, and also the other vendors which cooperates with your company. In Envision, you can get the information regarding the software used within organization. You can get the list of the software used on the single workstation and also the audits for the group information. For example, you can open the device information and get information about the software installed. So that way you can also get the information about the type of the software. If the software requires the license, it is placed on the audited applications list. You can also get the information about the software which is free, but this is installed on the computer. So that way you can compare if maybe some unnecessary software is installed on the computers. What is more, you can also store the information, browse the information regarding the hardware configuration. For example, the information about the serial numbers of the computers, BIOS version, release date, so there is no need to interrupt user work, explain how to check BIOS version to update it. You can also get this information automatically collected from the Envision agent. What is very useful is the information about the memory, not only what type of memory is installed on the motherboard slots, but also how many slots you have on the motherboard on the selected computer. So that way you will be able to estimate if you want to make the RAM upgrade, you can add additional memories, or you have to replace for the bigger ones because there is no more free slots for the memory on the motherboard. You will get the information about the hard drives, logical disk, partitions, monitors, video controllers, and so on. You can also get more detailed information about the Windows operating system, about the startup commands. So if, for example, somebody is complaining that the computer starts very slow, you can compare if maybe some unnecessary processes are added to startup folder. You can also verify the environmental variables, maybe some malware change some system directories paths, and that's the reason of the issues with the computer. You can also manage the user accounts remotely. You can add the accounts, you can delete them, you can change the accounts properties like password, you can assign user to the group, and so on. So these are the information from the single workstation at the glance. What is more, you can create the audits to compare the information from the multiple computers. So go to the assets and go to the software tab, and you can browse a list of all detected installations of the programs and versions on the computers within the company. You can also switch to software audits. In the software audit, you can browse the information, how many installations were detected of the single applications, how many licenses you store in Envision and assign to the installations, and you get information about the usage of the licenses and also license compliance if you have some spare licenses or missing licenses. When you double click, you can browse list of all detected installations, all computers with this application installed. You can go to the licenses. You can store in Envision your licenses. Envision is the place build up to help administrators to store all informations regarding the licenses in one place instead of some, for example, shared Excel spreadsheets or shared mailboxes, shared folders, and so on. So you can create your licenses and put them in Envision to store the information in one place for every administrator. When you double click, the license detail is being displayed. In this place, you can also create multiple use licenses. And what is more, Envision can automatically assign the licenses to detected installations. What is more, you can also model more advanced license tracking rules, not only assign licenses to installations, but also to users, to serial numbers. You can keep serial numbers in Envision as well. And also you will get the information about current licenses usage, the tracking rule, and the computer or user to which the license is assigned. With license, you can store the information as the as the parameters as well. For example, dates of purchase, expiration date, and so on. And for this part, you can also create the alerts. So administrator will not forget ever to extend the license, because Envision can create the alert, generate the alert, and notify administrator also by email before, for example, 2 weeks before the time set in the license expiration date. So that way you can also make the work easier for you to get additional notifications before the license will expire. You can also store the information as the documents. For example, you can import scan of invoices, authenticity certificates, and so on, and keep all this information in one place in central database in Envision. You can browse all history of the changes within the licenses, the information about the assigning the license to the user, to the computer, change in the attributes in the fields, and so on. All this information, all the changes are kept in the history. A general tab, you can also put the related applications, higher or lower version of the same application, to assign the license to the upgrades or downgrades. So that way you can also store such information in Axence Envision console. What is more, for changes within the inventory, you can also browse, create the alerts. Regarding the alerts are created in Envision by combining the event which triggered the alert, and also action which is performed. For example, it can be email message to administrator. You can also use text messages. We will add in September this year, we will add the Microsoft Teams notifications as well, so administrators can get the notifications about the changes. Regarding the events which can trigger the alerts, for inventory, you can get the information, for example, when there will be any change within the hardware configurations of the computers. For example, when user take over the memory and the memory will change in the computer, you will get the information about such changes. So you can configure custom notification about different hardware inventory changes. You can also get the notification when there will be software changes. So Envision will detect the new application or uninstallation of the applications. You can also configure that alert to be generated only when there is the change within the audited software, which require the license. In Envision, you can also create the alerts when there will be some systems information changes, not only the startup commands, network shared folders, but also when there will be smart status changes. So something is going on with the hard disk. Administrator can get notifications to react, to create backup of the data from the computer, and try to fix the repair the disk to try to solve the issue with the disk. In Envision, you can also store the information about your assets. Different type of the assets can be kept within the Envision. For each asset, you can add additional attributes as additional fields to store the information about the assets. You can also import the assets from the CSV files. If you have this Excel file with, for example, list of your monitors, projectors, flash drive, hard disk, external disk, you can import to the Envision and keep them as the assets and store the more detailed attributes, documents assigned to the assets and assigned to the users. How the single asset looks like, let's go to the tools and select, for example, Makita device, something. As you can see, you can assign the inventory number. Inventory number is also placed as the QR code. You can also display it as the barcode in a specific format. So you can also store and generate the stickers for your assets. As for the assets, also you can add additional fields, additional attributes, store the information about them. You can assign the statuses, for example, in warehouse, on the repair, maintenance, in use, and so on. You can store your documents, scan of invoices. You can add activities when you, for example, make internal repair or send to external service. You can store such information in Envision. You can browse the history of the changes. You can add your notes to store the information about the assets, and as well you can create the alerts like for the licenses. What is more, you can select more than one asset and add them to the barcode queue, and prepare the stickers to mark your assets with the codes. And then you will be able to use the Android applications to get to prepare the audits from your Android smartphone or Android tablet. So there is no need to take your laptop when you prepare the audit of your assets. You can use your Android mobile device to prepare the audits. In this Android application, you can check the information from the code, from the sticker, to get more detailed information regarding the asset. You can also create the new assets from the Android device. What is more, you can browse the information regarding the changes within the audits for the assets as well, to compare the information, what changed between two dates within the history. So you will get the information about deleted asset, change asset, and also the green mark is for the assets which were created between the dates. Similar audits you can perform and store for the software, of course. Create audit archive and compare changes between two dates. For example, between current snapshot and some historical values. So we will get the information what applications were added, what were deleted, and what changes were made within the list of the installed software on the computers. Let's skip to the next part, which is critical resources monitoring, because as you know, the different issues can also generate a lot of cost to solve the problems. So it's very important to keep information regarding the infrastructure updated. How can we do it? We can agentlessly monitor devices by TCP/IP services responses, performance counters through WMI protocol or SNMP data. As you can see, the status of the device can be also visualized as for example, the warning state, non-working device, the issue device. When we switch from the graphic view to the list of devices, you can also get the information that there are some services detected on devices, and the warning state is marked for the device when at least one service is not responding and at least one service is responding, and the not working devices when none of the detected services are not responding. So let's go to some device, some server, test server properties, and what information we can get and monitor through the network module to reduce the risk of different serious issues within the infrastructure. So the first thing is the TCP/IP services responses. You can get the list of detected services and monitor them, for example, for file sharing service from the file server. You will get the information about the responses, last, average, minimum, maximum, percent of last packages. You can display the historical data in 15-minute scope, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, and 1 year. Of course, you can switch between the dates and compare the trends of the responses. This is SMB3 for file sharing, so we can add the alert for this service, create a new event, and add the service, not service down, but service performance. For example, select the service from the list. And for example, check last 5 minutes. If every response, each response from the last 5 minutes is greater than, for example, 200 milliseconds, the alert will be generated automatically. When it drops under 20, it will be ended automatically. So that way you will get the information before the service will stop completely, that something is going on. You can react, you can change the services, the server responses, usage, and other areas to prevent users from not getting the access to the file server. So that way you can monitor critical services from your servers. For Windows-based machines, you can also monitor Windows services. For example, if the file server also there is installed the print server role, you can get information about this spooler service status. And for example, you can restart it, you can start, you can also create the alert to perform some such actions automatically by Envision. What is more, you can agentlessly monitor Windows event logs to get information about the critical events on these servers, get notifications from them, and be notified, and also try to fix some issues automatically by Envision actions. For example, you can monitor the Windows event logs for security for event ID 4625, which is unsuccessful failed logon try. So you will get the information about such unsuccessful tries, and also you will get the information from which workstation this request were created. As I said before, you can also get information about the performance by WMI protocol or SNMP data. For WMI, you can create the performance counters, very simple wizard, where you select the type of the counter, then you select the class, counter, and instance. For example, we can create logical disk, percent free space on 3 megabytes on C drive, click OK, finish, and the counter is created. So that way you can monitor the free space on the file server and get the information like the SD chart to browse the information, the history of the free space. You can also put the thresholds and create the alerts for these changes. So Envision can can monitor value, detect the changes, and then generate the alerts for administrators as the event and actions combined in the alerts. Other examples: free memory on the server, CPU load, history, and changes. And different type of the performance counters are for the SNMP data. For SNMP data, you can monitor information which are created by the vendor of the device. For example, this is the environmental sensors. We can browse the SNMP tree with data. So for example, to get information about the uptime of the device, and we can also switch to the specific branches, for example, private enterprises on which this device keeps data, HW group, Poseidon device, and sensor table. As you can see, there are two sensors, humidity and temperature, the sensor string and sensor value. So we can add the value to be monitored from the context menu, and that way Envision can monitor the information about the temperature in server room. So in case if there will be an issue with the air condition, administrator can be notified if when the temperature will rise above some generated defined threshold by the administrator. So any changes can also when you create the alert, the change of the value can also change the device status. So when the temperature will rise, so the status of the sensor will be changed to the warning. So the icon will be marked as the yellow. So that way you can also visualize the changes of the statuses. You can visualize the alerts which are generated on the device. All this information about generated alerts are also kept in the alerts in the events log. So you can browse the history of all generated alerts from every device, single on the device or group in group way as the list from all devices. For the information gathered for the monitoring and alerts, you can also get the SOC-like view because we developed Admin Center part of the system. In Admin Center, you can create your own custom dashboards to store the information as the widgets. On the widgets, you mark the grid. You can make the grid. And then place the widgets on the grid. Let's switch to the English, sorry. Yeah. You can put the widgets and, for example, get the information about the performance counters, event logs, alarms, alerts, response times of TCP/IP services, and then you can prepare such dashboards dedicated to some modules, or you can mix the data from different modules on one dashboard. You can also display it on the full screen mode. You can share the dashboards with your colleagues by the links. And you can, for example, display it on any external screen which is connected to the network, and then browse, get the live view about the changes, about generated alerts, about the critical infrastructure points monitoring by the counters, for example, temperature, CPU usage, or critical services responses. Services responses from the critical servers. You can also display the admin center in the night mode as well. Let's go back to the Envision console, because Envision console, Envision server can also get the information as the syslog messages from the network devices about the issues, and also as the SNMP traps. So Envision can be also set in the listen mode, and that way Envision will listen for the SNMP traps from devices or syslog messages, collect them, and process as the alerts for the administrators when some thresholds will occur, some conditions will be met. The other area is about the incidents, investigations, and accountability. So the checking how the user works with the computer. So let's switch to the users tab. Select the user. And we can go to the activity tab. In activity tab, we can browse the information about the work time of the user, when user were logged out on the logged on the computer. So if somebody is working after the hours of the typical work day, maybe it's not the user, maybe it's somebody is logged remotely to the computer because some security branch is under the attack. What is more, you can browse the statistic of the application usage. You can browse the application timelines, for example, WinWord, check who edited documents and when, and for example, search for selected documents. For example, list of the payrolls, you will get the information who edited it, who had the access, and when the access occurred. Also, the same similar way, you can get the information about the visited pages. So if there is some security breach, you can investigate who had the access to some parts of the applications or the websites. You can also create additional policies to help prevent data leakage, to secure the users, to make the work with the on the computer more secure, both for the users and for the data. You can, for example, prepare the list of the blocked websites which can be harmful for the users, both users and data, and also prevent users, from example, from cyber slacking. When user will try to to go to the blocked website, the notification is being displayed by Envision. For example, it may be implemented as the HTML code, which will be displayed to the user. And with the form, the site is blocked by the company's policy, security policy. If you need access to this website, you can fill the form and send a request to the help desk, to the IT team. What is more, all these blockades rules can be edited by administrator, and also the messages can be customly created by administrators. You can also prevent users from starting the applications from selected path, for example, from the downloads, desktop, also only grant the access to the installed software from the program files. You can prevent users from starting the games, torrent applications, or some processes which are built in the operating system, so they are secure, but they can be used in the bad way. For example, PowerShell exe is not required for every day for single for standard users, so you can block it for the users to prevent, to help to make the computer more secure, to prevent starting some scripts which can, for example, infect the computers. You can prevent users from downloading the files from the web browser. Let's check how it works. We put the extensions and accept it, and almost immediately the rule is sent to the agent. And when user tries to download some exe file, the downloading is being blocked, and also the message created by administrator is displayed. Other example, MSA package. So that way you can prevent users from downloading the files which can be harmful to the computer. Maybe user will try to install software which is infected from the infected website, or maybe he tries to install the software on which we don't have the license. So that way we can prepare additional policies to prevent users from downloading the files, executing them, and also visiting some websites which are not related with everyday work tasks. You can also create the additional policies for the usage of the external devices in the data guard module. You can prevent users from reading, writing, executing files from the external devices. And I guess the most common policy is block to all other USB storage devices. So we can block the writing and executing files, and grant the access only for the some specific external flash devices which were bought by company owned, and the company gave it to users. Each flash drive hard disk is detected by its serial number. So we grant the access to the specific devices or class of devices, not to the USB ports. So if the user will connect the phone will be locked, but it will be still charging. So there is no issue with everyday work, but some unauthorized devices can be blocked that way. Also, when user will connect the flash drive to the different USB port, reformat it, the rights will stay the same all the time because the serial number is stayed unchanged. Also, you can browse the access log of the user actions. You can get the access about connected, disconnected devices, for example, multi-card reader, but also you will get the information about, you can filter file operations, about the file created, deleted from the external devices. You can also get about information about renamed file, written to, so all file operations can be monitored both on external devices, but also you can add local audited directories to be monitored. For example, to monitor the file operations performed by the user in the home user profile folder. For this part, of course, you can prepare the alerts. There are some events prepared. For example, when user will print some pages over the limit, when you the bandwidth of the limit, so when somebody is downloading or uploading a lot of data within the internet or the LAN network, you can get notification. You can also get the notification when user will visits some websites from the selected groups. You can create your custom groups of the websites and monitor the visits on them and get the alerts. And also for the mobile devices connected, disconnected, the alerts can be generated, but I guess the most interesting alert event is the event which can be generated when some files are created on the external devices. You can also create a file mask, for example, for the file name. If the file name contains contract word, the alert will be generated automatically, or for specific formats, for example, docs, PDFs, and so on. This creating such files, deleting, renaming, writing to existing files can generate the alerts for the administrators. Also, this information are prepared for the administrators to help improve the security of infrastructure, but sometimes very often managers of the teams ask IT departments for preparing different types of the activity reports. So that's why we created Smart Time. In a Smart Time module, which is accessed by the web browser, any manager can check the group activity. His group activity and manager will get also the information about the team members' productivity time. You can go to the productivity details, change the dates, and compare the information regarding the activity of the user. You will get the information about work time, time spent at the computer, away from the computer, and time spent in productive applications and websites. So below there is the activity chart. Also, you can get the information about the green bars. These are the productive applications. Red ones are unproductive. No bar, there is the break. And below there is a list of applications classified as productive, neutral, and unproductive. Also, managers can get the alerts by emails when productivity threshold set by administrator will not be exceed, or when unproductivity limits spent in the applications marked as unproductive will exceed some limits. So these emails are being set every day at 7 a.m. They contain the information about employees who didn't reach the productivity threshold or exceed unproductivity limit on the previous days. Of course, administrator can also create the exceptions for the productivity checking. For example, the Facebook, I guess, is quite a good example, because generally the Facebook is is set as unproductive applications, but some departments, like the marketing department, they use Facebook in everyday work as one of the tools for their job. So you can grant the exceptions for the marketing team members if they will visit the Facebook, they prepare maybe some promo campaigns, check some information about the events, so you can mark this activity as as exception from unproductive activity. Also, the just regular end user can go to the agent icon and select the your activity. So that way, even if end user can check what already Envision knows about my activity, what is the scheme of rating my activity by my manager. So also what I can do to be more productive, what applications or websites are set as unproductive. So what should I avoid from visiting to make my activity more productive in everyday use. I guess it's good time also to switch to the next next area, which is service request system, because preparing good service request system is very important to prepare good communication channel. So that way administrators can use the help desk and prepare, for example, the articles in knowledge base. Let's switch to the English. The help desk which can be accessed by the users through the web browser, and the knowledge base articles can be displayed, but can be created by administrators and viewed by the users. For example, there can be stored some files with solutions, with tips, information articles about the newest malware incidents, how to avoid them, and what we can do to make our work safer. So simple tips can be stored in knowledge-based articles. Also, it's very important to help users create tickets very easily. Users can create the tickets by the email messages, but also the user can start the help desk from the agent icon and go to your request site. On your request, user can browse the tickets created by his own, and also tickets on which the user is added as the observer. When user creates the tickets, it's very simple form. Selects the category with search box, for example, printers. As you can see, additional fields are displayed. So administrators can create custom forms, custom fields, forms to ask users at the step of creating the tickets about the additional information about tickets, about the issues in specific categories. Basic form has the 3 fields: category, subject, and description. It's very easy to add the screenshot if the agent is installed on the computers with single 1, 2, 3 clicks. The screenshot is added as the attachment to the ticket. Administrator can browse or data, can create ticket assignment rules to make the tickets being assigned automatically to specific administrators, can also use automations to make more advanced actions on the tickets when the tickets miss some conditions. For example, if the ticket subject contains at least one of the words, for example, printer, and the ticket is creating by is created by the email message, automatically set the category to the printers, and then ticket assignment rule will assign this ticket automatically to this person who is responsible for the printers in the company. What is more, in the help desk, administrator can also get the remote access to the computer, both from the web browser, but also in Envision console. So you can select the user, select the computer, get remote access to the computer. Within remote access, you can select the access mode: view only, concurrent access, block user mouse, or block user mouse and keyboard. Let's set the view only mode. User can be notified. Unfortunately, this one is not locked right now, but we can take over the control. Put the password, try to log in, change the user, and so on. Change the user and log as the other one. User can be notified, can be also asked for the approval of the connection. So that way you can create different policies. For example, for the managers, they will be asked, and just regular when user will be just notified. You can also create the policy when user will not be notified, and you connect to it in the background and check what already user does on the computer. You can also go to devices, select multiple agents the same way, and select remote command execution. Remote command execution, so you can perform every command, also PowerShell commands like you do in local CMD exe from the on the local computer from the command line from the Windows. For example, you can put a GP update with force. And as you can see, I selected two computers, put one command L, and this command is being executed on two computers at the same time. All selected computers were command performed. So that way you can manage computers remotely. You can also prepare distribution task to send the files to the users. You will get the information about the status of the task. When you prepare the task, you put the file. You can also execute them after copying. So agent can send the data in the background, not interrupting the user work, and then also start the task, execute the program with parameters, for example, for the silent unattended installation to install some applications in the background. So that way you can manage computers remotely. And what is more, when you plan some maintenance restart, some breaks with the access to the services, you can also send announcements to the users. For example, it can be created as the information, warning, or the alert. You can send it to all agents, selected agents, or selected users. For example, information that there will be 15 minutes break with access to the network search folder. So please save your work and wait until the restart. And you can set the dates, make the confirmation mandatory, put your own custom confirmation text, and send the notifications to the users. And also immediately the pop-up is being displayed to the user. User cannot close this window until he marked the confirmation checkbox. Then the OK button is being displayed. And what is more, you can go to announcements view, history, and we'll get the list of the devices and users who displayed and when clicked OK confirmation button for displayed announcements. So that way you can also get the evidence list of the confirmations of your announcements sent to the user. So that way Envision helps administrators in everyday work to cover different areas of the system management. As I said before, there is also the additional feature of Admin Center. In Admin Center, you can build the Soga-like views to get information overview, information regarding the status of your infrastructure. You can create the module dedicated dashboards with the widgets, for example, information about the changes within data guard, last 10 connected, disconnected devices, the last 10 operations, file operations on the computers with agents. You can also create some overview to combine information, for example, about the alerts, visitor web pages, parameters of infrastructure, new tickets in the help desk, users who prints the most, and so on. So I guess it's a good time for your questions. If you have questions, please feel free to ask me, type on the chat, or
Hello, Martin.
Or we will ask yes for the translation.
So we have one questions from
Sure.
Alexandru Passat. I'll
Yes.
translate you.
Yes, please.
So what is the requirement about this product? I think Alexandru Passat asking about the server side and the client side, like client agent.
Sure. On our website, there is the link to user manual. You can browse all informations about the configuration of Envision, but regarding the system requirements, we can install Envision Server on Windows Server 208, 2008 R2, a newer one. But it's recommended to install on the Windows Server editions. Technically, it is possible to run Envision on Windows 10, Windows 11 as well. Envision Agent can be installed on Windows XP Service Pack 3 and newer one. And regarding the system requirements for server, it's 4 gigabytes of RAM and for a 64 operating system. Recommended is adding the 8 gigabytes of RAM for each 1000 agents. We estimate that up to 500 agents Envision can be installed on the virtual machine as well. Regarding the agent, the requirements are very low. It's 100 megabytes of the RAM memory and Windows XP or newer system.
Also, this link we will send it to Alexandru Passat. The
Perfect.
second questions also from Alexandru Passat.
I will put this link on the chat as well.
Yeah. The second questions from Alexandru is what is happen when the networks go down, and what is happen with rules of Axence, yeah, or with agent, how will work? Will remain rules on PC, for example, if was applied like to drop Facebook connection or some USB flash, Axence will work in offline mode or yeah.
Yes, if the agent is not connected to the server, it still runs in the background of the operating system because it's installed as the Windows service. So if you prepare the rules for blocking websites, blocking flash drives, monitoring file operations on the hard disk and flash drives, agent still does it. Agent sends the data, the monitoring data information logs to the Envision every 20 minutes. If it's not connected to the server, it will send it back when the connection will be established. You can configure the agent that way to send data also through the internet because agent connection is encrypted with TLS protocol. So that way, when you install agent on the laptops, prepare the port forwarding rules, agent can transfer data also through internet, and also administrator will be able to get remote access, remote connection to the computer because this remote access uses the same port as the agent connection. Technically, this is TCP 4436 port. So simple for forwarding rule is enough to make it working.
Okay. The first questions from Alexandru, but I think you represent in your demo is questions how we can to monitor all the tasks or all services which are stopped, started, or some users was created. These things we can make a rule about the notification report as you presented before.
Yes, we can monitor status of TCP/IP services, Windows services, and also we can create the alerts by combining the event which triggered the alert and also action which can be performed. The events can cover a lot of areas because they can check the device service availability, not only when device is down or service is down, but also when service performance is poor. We can also monitor our counters, create the thresholds for the counters from SNMP, from Windows thresholds, new entries in the Windows event logs, users actions as well. Regarding the actions which can be performed for each alert, you can add more than one action. Again, they can be started immediately on the event start, after some minutes on the event end, and they can be set as the notifications, for example, email, text message by GSM gateway, appliance with SOAP.NET GSM protocol. We will add soon the Microsoft Teams notification, but also the other group of the actions are the actions which can try to fix some issues automatically by running the program on the server, running program or script on the remote machine, setting wake on LAN packets, changing the status of the Windows services. For example, Envision discovered the antivirus service tapped and it tries to restart it automatically, or backup solution service, and so on. So that way you can create the alerts when some event will occur, and the action which can be performed, they can be notifications or the actions which can try to fix some issues automatically.
Also, to add here one more questions that Alexander Passat asking about how we can identify that Axence client agent was deleted. Yeah, but here also we can make some alert or some notification on event, and also Alexander Passat we can drop or for user, do not delete Axence agent. I'm right, Martin,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
This we can reduce uninstalling.
And the Vision agent is secured by administrator password. So even if user will try to uninstall the agent, like go to the program file, select the agent, uninstall it, even if the user has the administrator permission on the computer, to uninstall the agent will be prompt for administrator password. It's not the administrator of the computer, but the administrator from Envision console. So this is the main account, built-in account password, root administrator. So user will not get this password. So user is not able to uninstall the agent on his own, even if has the administrator permissions on the computer. But if the agent is not connected to the server, administrator can get the alert as well. So for example, you can go to the events and agent status. If the agent is not connected since, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 days, administrator can be notified that something is going on because the agent has not connected since, for example, 4 days.
Okay, we have number 5 questions. This is, I think, general questions about the web monitoring. This is applied on group or specific cases. I think here we can create a rule. What we want to monitor is
you can
everything.
You can synchronize the list of your users from Active Directory services, or you can create the user accounts manually. If the agent is installed on the computer, it also create the user account in the console if the Active Directory is not present. And you can create groups. You can use these groups imported from Active Directory. You can create your own groups and put the accounts to them.
I think this is questions regarding the admin center, where you can monitor activity of the users.
Oh, okay. So in order to get the access to admin center, you have to prepare the group and set the manager of the group. Maybe we will set the other one. Yeah. Set the manager, and then manager will get the access to activity of the members of the group. But the single member, if it's set as the just regular end user, for example, let's open this user, go to the permissions. As you can see in the smart time, this user is just regular end user with the access only to her own activity. So the first thing is to create group, set the manager for the group, and the manager has the access to all team members' activity, but single team member has the access to only his own activity from by clicking the agent icon and selecting your activity link, and then user is able to browse only his own activity.
Also, in monitoring, Alexandro, you can open RDP session like unattended session when user doesn't know that you are connected, and you can view the screen of a remote user, end user.
Yes, you
Also,
can go to.
Yes, you can select with notification or without notification. This is also very good.
Yeah, this is the example with notification. View only, but the user were notified that I connected to him.
And next questions from Alexandro, the last one. If Axence working with only Active Directory LDAP or with group? If there is working with both.
Yeah, Axence will work with both. If there is no Active Directory synchronization, agent will create the accounts automatically when sends the data first time, and then will be sent data to accounts marked as with the orange icon. The blue one is for the Active Directory synchronized accounts, but also Envision works if there is no domain.
So we have next question. Thank you, Martin. From Nastas Evgeny. Nastas Evgeny, you can type or unmute the microphone.
Thank you, Alexandro. Hi, Martin. One question from my side related to incident management tool.
Sure.
Does it have some SLA mechanism to set up? I mean, when the incident breach some agreed level of solving, can we be aware of this, or can we set up which is agreed terms for solving one incident or another?
There is no SLA in console for alerts. The only way is to create the action which can reoccur, can be repeated. So with additional notifications for administrator, but there is no SLA to put some multiple levels of the incidents.
This SLA only can be added in the help desk.
Yes, in help desk module, you can go and create SLA metrics for different types of the tickets. You can create two types of the behavior: waiting time for the first response, also time waiting for the ticket solution. Basically, the tickets under SLA metrics, there are all tickets, but you can specify additional conditions. For example, if the ticket requester belongs to a group, for example, supervisors, then waiting time for the first response shouldn't be longer than 1 hour. If it's longer, the metric will be breached and the notifications can be set to send it as the email to the additional supervisor. Of course, the person who is responsible for the ticket will be notified. A ticket will be marked that the SLA metric were breached. And you can also set the validity time since creations and, for example, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or only within the defined weekdays and times of the day when the support team is working on. You can also create your own days of calendar. But it's for the help desk tickets SLA. There is no SLA for the incidents alerts within the console and network module.
Okay, and how tickets are created based only on user mails, or there is a platform, maybe web platform?
Yes, in Envision. Yes.
Yeah, that was the question.
Okay, in Envision options, you can set the help desk dedicated mailbox, and then every mail sent to this mailbox will be processed as the ticket to the system and visible in the portal. But user can also start the portal from the agent, go to your requests, and create new request on the portal by adding ticket button.
One question related to agent. I thought I heard on the beginning of the presentation that software is agentless, but
The first module is agentless. The network one.
Oh, network model is agentless. But related to clients, how do you add the clients to the console? Only installing agents on them?
Yes. You have to install the agents. You have to prepare the agent installer file. You can prepare MSA package for silent and unattended automatic installation by Active Directories or antivirus management console. You put IP address. You can put your edge router public IP address and then create port forwarding rule for TCP 4436 port. When you prepare, open the folder containing the installer. You can use exe for manual installation. You can also use MSI package for automatic installation by Active Directory GPOs or by antivirus management console. Also, there are silent parameters described in the user manual as well.
Okay, and the last short question, if I may. Related to platform, it runs only on Microsoft platforms, or
yes?
Okay.
Yes.
So no Unix support.
Yes, the server and console and agents are created for the Windows operating system.
Thank you very much for your responses.
Thank you
for the presentation.
Thank you very much. You can monitor different types of the device, for example, Linux machines by TCP/IP services responses and by the SNMP data by network module, which is agentless.
As a network devices, as a simple network devices, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
So performance counters and TCP/IP services responses.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. We have now questions about the MCP program, about the licensing. I think we can resume that how is licensing this solution Axence with all modules. Yeah.
Yes. In order to get the license for Envision, the administrator has to specify the number of computers on which the agent will be installed and the modules. There is no need to select all 6 functional modules. You specify the modules, the network is added for free with no additional cost to the license. So you select between the data guard, helpdesk, smart time users, and inventory, and then specify the number of the agents. If you have the Windows computers without the agents, they can be monitored by network for free. If you need, for example, remote access, the distribution task, user activity history, and so on, you have to install the agent, which is a license. The license is perpetual. With the first license, there is 1 year of service agreement of technical support. Within this time, you can install every update, every upgrade if you have the service agreement active. Then the cost of the extension of the service agreement is something approximately about the 20% of the basic price of the original license.
About the MSP program, if Axence has this possibility, or the licensing.
I guess it's a good question to Peter, which I guess is. I'm afraid I cannot answer for MSP.
Peter, you are with us, or?
Yes, I'm here. Can you please repeat this?
We have one questions about the MSP program from Axence, if it's available.
So what do you mean, MSP?
Hi, Peter. Adrian. It's about selling the license in monthly with monthly payment, like as a service. Yeah.
Subscription.
Like subscription. That's what you mean?
Yes.
Well, what we have right now, as Martin said, this is a perpetual license, so we don't go for the subscription. I don't know. Maybe if there will be a client, because mostly clients are interested in purchasing our software as a perpetual license. So we don't have the other model, but I don't know if you have a client like this very interested in, and with the large number of the models, maybe we can consider that.
Okay, thank you. We will talk in more details with the customer, and we will find exactly what he needs or what are his expectations, and
Yes.
we will analyze. One very interesting question for you, Martin or Peter. Somebody is asking us, Sanda Savin, could replace, I don't know, this solution with one ERP? Because this solution is taking the data, is processing, doing the management, and I think Sanda is asking is if this solution could be work like an ERP or could be replaced. In my opinion, no, because ERP is other thing. But
Yes.
He was asking, and I just wanted to translate to be honest with all the people who joined to us.
I guess ERP is more advanced for the whole organization, designed especially for whole organization. I guess the Envision inventory module can support the ERP, but in the area of the management by the administrator and IT related stuff. So the answer is no in the whole organization, but it can support the IT team by managing the resources.
Yeah, thank
you.
I totally agree with you. Any other question? Alte întrebări din partea publicului? Sorry for switching in Russian, in the Romanian, sorry. Maybe, I think no. Martin, it was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for the great presentation that you made today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, I just to add additional information for the people who are joining with us, dears, just to know that we are ready to offer all Axence system support regarding the demo or maybe pilot project, or maybe if you have any use cases, we can help with that. More than that, we can, for example, begin with the one small model, yes, and after to grow up with other ones regarding the future your requirements that we are ready to help you. Just that I want just to mention that to be aware you and as well the customer that we are ready to support them. Marcin, I see one more question from the Alexandru Parsat on technical side. Can you show how security officer can check the action from administrators from Axence? You can look on the chat, Marcin.
Okay.
You understood, yeah?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, also, yes, the access to the console requires the account which is promoted to the administrator or super administrator role. Super administrators have all the permissions enabled, but you can grant the access for different types of the different areas of the system for administrators. So let's search for the administrator. Yeah, maybe that one. And then you can go to the permissions and grant the access to different parts of the system. Group of the devices, maps created in Envision, so this administrator can get the access to selected groups of devices or selected group of the users. Also, you can grant the access to different types of the data. For example, grant the access to inventory, but prevent users from managing the inventory, and disable the users activity data. So the administrator will not get information about them. All administrator accounts are all administrator actions are stored as the logs in the console logs. As you can see, all actions we performed today are stored in Envision. Log into console, browsing the data, desktop preview, options, user informations. The commands from the remote command executions are stored in the Envision console. But to get the access to these actions, the administrator who must be promoted to super administrator. So this security officer should get account created
Alexandra,
in Envision console.
I hope we answered on your question. Good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Any other question? I think, Marcin, in case if we will have other question, we'll take
yes, of course,
it over by us, and we will try to help them in our local language and with our local support. Thank you for the time. I think we have to go further and to go to the most interesting part of the maybe of the webinar. It's about the quiz. But wait, please, we have one more question. Has the system possibility to send logs to the log server?
To syslog server.
I think yes, but
yes,
Marcin,
Envision.
If are you here? You can respond, please.
Okay, Envision can send the administrator logs to syslog server. Also, the generated alerts can be set as the action.
Marcin?
Sure, yes.
Hello.
I
can't hear you, sorry.
It's all right.
And now?
It's all right, Marcin.
Okay, great, thank you. So Envision can transfer the administrator logs to the syslog servers. Also, the generated alerts can be put as the syslog messages to the remote syslog server.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Let's go further. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Marcin, Peter, and all the Access team for being involved in our today webinar. We will go further and we will switch in Romanian just to finalize our today webinar. Thank you for your time and thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcin. Thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Da, mulțumim mult, Teodora. Mulțumim mult, Marcin, pentru prezentare. Către toți participanții vreau să vin doar cu un mic anunț că după încheierea webinarului vom reveni către dumneavoastră cu un mail de follow-up în care va fi și un formular de feedback și chiar vă rugăm mult să îl completați pentru că pentru noi este foarte vital să aflăm părerea dumneavoastră, obiecțiile sau poate chiar și unele lucruri care ar trebui de îmbunătățit. Și de asemenea, dacă la cineva au apărut careva întrebări adăugătoare sau sunt necesare careva detalii, putem reveni la fiecare în parte în privat, putem reveni la fiecare în parte cu o prezentare demo sau chiar, de ce nu, și o pilotare a soluției date pe infrastructura dumneavoastră. Și vă mulțumesc mult pentru că ați participat la webinar și sper din suflet că dumneavoastră ați recepționat destul de multă informație care era preconizată și a fost relatată de colegii mei. Vă mulțumesc mult și până la următoarele evenimente. Să aveți o zi frumoasă în continuare.